when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Right, chaps and chaplets. So we've now hooked up. If you buy one of these amps, you're gonna want to hook up a pedal board to it to give you more options. Really, the best choice would be to hook up Pod HD series effects pedal. You could go and blow your balls on a HD500, which everyone kind of does, but if you've just blown your wad on this, you're not going to have many pennies left. So the HD300 might be the way to go for you. Running on eBay for next to fuck all, and even brand spanking, you're looking at under 200 quid. As you can see, we're running two cables. There's a 4-cable method that you'll hear everyone in the world talk about, but mate, we've got an arsehole and an elbow, and that's all we need. Two in. We've got the XLR, standard XLR out, which comes from the Line 6 Link proprietary lead, which means nothing. It's an input and an output, and that goes into the back of the DT25, and then I've got a guitar input just running straight into there. Thing to note out at this point is Line 6 recommend that you run out of the line rather than the amp. Is it line or amp?
It's live or studio.
Live or studio, so come out with live rather than studio. But they do say, if you go on the website, there's a connectivity kind of guideline, and they do say, let your ears do the talking, really. If it sounds better coming out of live, do that. Sounds better coming out of studio, do that. We've had about a 10-15 minute tinker, and we found that it sounds better coming out of live. And that's pretty much it, man. Everything connects brilliantly. If you note, you can kind of hear, if I switch amp, you'll hear the click of the analog section of the head changing. You'll see the blinking lights and stuff, and that changes everything from topology from your 4 amps, your Class A to Class AB, your pentode, your triode. It'll change all of that for you. Works absolutely flawlessly. Load of communications and issues really on the forums and in our comments on some of the other videos about volume spikes and things sounding a little bit iffy. The models from the HD range not sound as good as the built-in models from the head. So what we've done is we've got a Plexi. It's the P75 model, which is built into Topology 1 on the head, and we've got it on the HD300 as well, and we've set everything straight up. Now what I can do is I can run all the HD300 models through channel A, and when I click to channel B, I get the amp. It kind of bypasses the 300. I don't know whether that works on the 500, because supposedly on the 500 you can change both amps. I don't know what the bonus of that would be, considering you can change everything on one channel anyway. I don't know. But for this purpose, it allows us to give us a pretty good A-B comparison. So we'll do that now. Play a similar lick what we've been playing for the rest of the review or demo. On A, we're running the HD300, so that's telling the brain what to do. And we have got a Park 45. Is it a 45?
75?
Park
P75.
P75, which is kind of like a Marshall Plexi kind of deal. And then when I switch to B, you'll notice that nothing changes, no lights change, nothing changes, because it's exactly the same as what we're running on the HD. Everything straight up, no reverb. So this is the HD 300 model of that amp. So still really dynamic, sounds really, really good. And then we go to the amp version of that model. Now, it is a little bit different, I'll grant you that. I think the HD300 seems to be a little bit brighter. Just as warm, just a little bit brighter, but no major difference really. Definitely not to the level that I've read in the forums where people are just absolutely slating the HD range for it not communicating with the DT range very well. So now what we're going to do is we'll move over to a high gain setting. So what we've realised is that Typology 4 is a tread plate. Now the only Typology 4 in the HD 300 seems to be the Powerball or the F-Ball, which is the Engel emulation. But we found that the tread plate is the closest thing to it, even though the tread plate is Typology 3 on the HD and Typology 4 on the DT. So we just made it Typology 4, forced it into what it is on the head, if that makes sense. Anyway, so let's move on to that. So here we have the HD 300 version of it. And then we'll go to B, match the Typology, which is 4, everything straight up as it is on the model, and this is the DT25 version. Back to the HD. So as you can see again, the HD seems to be a little bit brighter, which isn't a bad thing really. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
I'm liking that.
You know what I mean? I think I most probably prefer what the HD does to the emulations really. And remember guys, this is pre-update 2.0, so this hasn't got a built-in Soldano or a Plexi, so it kind of has to be the HD 300. What we'll most probably end up doing is another video after the update, and we'll marry them up again and see if the A/B comparison works a little bit differently. So next one along is, this is our kind of Plexi, Hendrixy kind of tone. And what I'm basically showing you with this is the ability to change effects on the fly, and how the amp deals with an amp that isn't built in to the pre-2.0 update. So this is a Plexi that isn't built in, and this is how that kind of sounds. So currently I'm in a patch mode, so all these are separate amps. Check my socks, they're pretty rad. If I go to orange mode, I've now got a bank of effects. So I've got a delay, a modulation, which is a U-vibe, and a screamer. And this little ditty now will control the A/B switching on the amp. So I can basically turn off the 300 and go back into the so if you notice, this changes from B to A. So that controls my switching. So it's basically a foot switch. So what I'll do is I'll take all the effects off and then I'll put them in slowly. So we've got kind of Hendrixy kind of vibey thing. time. And then back to volume on that. So, sounds cool. Absolutely makes perfect sense to run this rig through this, because if we're running like a G system or a Nova, it'll kind of communicate via MIDI. It'll change your amp settings, but you're not getting all of the extra functionality. This is under 200 quid. 450, 200, you know what I mean? Do the math, man. It ain't $4,000. And maybe it's just name snobbery. I don't know. We're going to get hold of one of these fractal units along. I'm going to rip the piss out of it and see what we can do. Hopefully, we'll find that it's not that great. We might, I don't know, love piss all over ourselves, I don't know, and just totally dig it. Who knows?
Well, if it's incredible, you're going to have to sell possibly your car, maybe your left nut to get one.
Yeah, and I will as well.
You don't need both nuts.
I'll cup nut for $1.
Lance Armstrong, he was doing fine with one bottle.
Mate, I can get rid of one. I'll down at an elbow. I'll sell this Kahuna watch. It cost me $7.50. I'll sell it for $5. Right, guys. So what we're going to do now is that's the end of what we can do with this shit. Really, recommend it. Again, I kind of recommend every demo we do. But we've just been lucky to get some really groovy shit. I will tell you if it's pants, man. Great amp, standalone. Great foot pedal, standalone. And again, guys, you could take that to a gig and run it through a PA. You could take that to a gig and run it through a cab. You could put them both together and do a great loads of soundscapes if that's what you're after. They will do everything and they work individually, so they can fly with this. It's all good stuff. Hope that's answered some of the questions on the forum. I hope you guys got a kick out of it. If there's anything else you want to know, we're most probably going to be working with this kit again soon, especially after the update. We're going to be looking at what difference the update makes to the head and the HD connectivity, really. So keep your eyes peeled for it. I think we're going to champion the Line 6 DT25.
Damn straight.
It's pretty fucking hot. So peace and love.